Hi guys, welcome back. We are in the middle of the guest relations program. We are in module 3 right now. We already finished the foundation, which was module 1, clarifying your position. We discussed the 3 C's, which were call management, check-in and check-out in module 2. And now we're moving on how to improve communication that are internal as well as external, like with your guest or with the team, and how we can make the most out of the communication that we should have between everyone. So super excited that you're back with me. Hopefully that you're doing your homework and you're taking time to digest the information. You have that spiral notebook where you're taking your notes, coming up with your action plan and things that you need to do to improve. I want you to be the best that you can be. And the more you do of applying the information that we're talking about, the more you apply it, the better off you're going to be. And remember, as always, everything is on the MedSpa Biz University, so you get to come over here and watch and listen or download, so everything is handy for you. Now, if you are members with us, and a lot of you probably are, now you have access to the guest recipes as well as this guest relations that you're talking about. Now, I do have a lot of modules on communication in the guest recipes for success, the recipes for success, I should say, not guest recipes, recipes for success. And you can tap into those also once you've finished learning and applying the guest relations. Then you can move on to more advanced education that has to do with different parts of the business. So for right now, though, I just want you to focus on learning this. And then as you finish this module, this program, then you can move on to other things to help you improve your skills and your communications even more. Now, today, for this module, what we're going to do is talk about your voice and how important it is when we're talking about call management. The art of asking questions, because there are proper ways to ask questions and there are ways that are not so good to ask questions. We'll talk a little bit about internal communication between you and the team. And then I'm going to discuss with you that daily success planning meeting that I've been talking about, but I haven't really given you all the details about it. So in this module, we are going to do just that. So buckle up. Let's get ready. Let's rock and roll. Are you ready? I'm ready. Well, I've been doing a lot of talking on this program. So I hope that you're appreciating all the efforts that we are applying to really help you. I'm sure you are. You're great. All right, so the importance of communication. Let's start with the voice. We can sound happy. We can sound depressed. We can sound anxious. We can sound relaxed. There's all kinds of ways we can fluctuate our voice to send a certain message out. And when we're talking on the phone, you've heard this statement of people saying, I can hear you smile through the phone. And that's so true, because when you're speaking, when your voice comes across with a smile, people are wanting to listen for more. But if you're sounding like somebody's interrupting you, that you're in a hurry, you just want to get off the phone, which, believe me, when you make those phone calls I asked you to do a couple of parts ago, a couple of modules ago, you'll see how certain people come across, whether it's in person or on the phone, with their voice. So your voice can really make a huge difference. Not only that, but also the words that come out of your mouth are also very important, and how your message is being perceived by others through the words that you use. And then the other thing that's really important when we're talking about communication is actually the ability to ask for the money, the ability to close, the ability to make sales. And when you know how to close, it makes things also a lot easier, right? So this way it's effortless again, back to that word. And then the ability to solve concerns through the way we make the recommendation is actually a very important thing. And then the communication with the team and management is the other thing that we're going to focus on. So let's face it, through communication, everything is possible. As a matter of fact, a lot of people would be a lot happier in this world if we would communicate more instead of brushing things under the carpet or sweeping things under the carpet or brushing things off. It's very important. But I want to share with you this, how actually people perceive you through the 3 different principles on how the message comes across. So they say that 38% of how people perceive the message is with how you say it. It counts for 38% how they actually receive it. 55% is of what they see. And look at that. Only 7% of the words that you actually use. Well, what this basically tells us is that if you have the right tone of voice, how you're actually delivering the message, and what they actually see as they're hearing the message, so whether it's in person or checking into the lobby with you or wherever, what they see is very important because they're forming a judgment, right? And then the words. So as long as you say things in a nice and pleasant and friendly way, people are going to perceive it as a good thing for them to do. And people are very judgmental. Now, whether they're online or whether in person or whether on the phone, they're making an impression on you pretty fast. So we want that impression to be quick, good, impactful, and grab a good attention. Make them feel good about listening to you and want to be around you. So that first impression we talked about in the beginning, in the very first module, about your image, the way you look, your appearance, your attitude. Do you ever meet someone and right away when you first meet them, you decide you don't like them? And then you meet someone else and you like them right away? Why is that? It's that energy, it's that aura that we have about us. And when you are in the right mindset, when you're focused on what we're trying to do, especially in our industry, you guys, energy is so important. And people are going to make an impression on that energy, whether it's good or bad. And of course, since we are in the beauty, health, wellness industry, we want that energy to be super positive. So when people come up to us, if we're standing like this with our arms folded and we have an attitude and we're not smiling with our eyes and our voice and our body language, and we're not, giving that positive aura, who wants to be around you? So you are communicating, believe it or not. If you're just standing there, you're communicating. And we have to make sure that whatever the client sees in your facility or they hear on the phone is all very positive and very energetic, very happy, positive. That's what we want. We don't want them to feel that, it's just another person. So that impression, whether it's us or whether it's the facility, right? Whether it's your boutique, whether it's the scent, how it's organized, all that contributes to making that great first impression. And once we make that first impression good, the rest of the communication actually is easy because they form that opinion very quickly, right? And if they form a positive opinion about you quickly, then the rest of the conversation is going to go nice. But if right away you tick them off from the first thing because they're being seen as an interruption, then your communication is going to go downhill. Very, very important how we make that first impression and how we make people feel good about what we're doing. Now, the other part of communication that we need to focus on as an industry or as a medical spa or whatever type of business you have it's the words that we use in our industry, the way we describe the treatments, the way we describe the products, the way we describe the experiences that we provide is crucial to the success. I gave you many words here to start making them part of your vocabulary. And a fun thing to do actually in your facility is to take one word each day and just make it the word of the day. And this is just the beginning. Actually, I got you started. And you can actually build onto that vocabulary and start having better and better words all the time. And before you know it, you're communicating in a way that is so beneficial and so impressive that people want to listen to you. But if we don't use those words, then again, we sound like everybody else. And we don't want to sound like anybody else. We want to sound as a professional, as an expert, as a person that knows what the heck they're talking about. And that is key, you guys. You really need to spend some time getting that communication down and making sure you get some of these words down. So if you're describing a treatment, let's say you're describing a HydraFacial, and you know that it declogs the pores, right? It does deeper exfoliation, unclogs the pores, and then it infuses serums and treatments into the face to give it that nice deep hydration that gives you that nice glow. So there are ways to say that. So using words like decongesting or declogging or detoxifying or deep cleansing, superfusion of hydration, things like that. Now you're embellishing the description with words that are enticing. Just like if you go to a nice steakhouse restaurant. Let's say you go to Morton's or Ruth Chris. You know how they bring the steaks to the table and the way they describe the way the steak is going to be prepared, and they're selling the sizzle and not so much the steak. It's the same concept here. By using professional words, you're selling the sizzle of the treatment rather than the actual treatment. So the more descriptive we are with the proper words, then the better off you're going to be. Does that make sense? And that's what we want. I want you to sound super professional. When you focus on that, guess what? You're going to be super professional. So try it. I would print out that slide and I would start using the word of the day and get the whole team to start practicing these words and build on them. Before you know it, you have a whole library. All right, let's talk about the art of asking questions. You probably heard of open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions, right? And there is a place for open-ended and closed. Now, if we're trying to do a discovery, we definitely want to ask open-ended questions. Let me tell you the difference between the two. An open-ended question requires an answer that's more in depth, where a closed-ended question requires a yes or a no. Well, if you're trying to sell something, and if you're asking closed-ended questions and the option is only yes or no, well, you just shot yourself in the foot. Instead, you want to ask open-ended questions that will keep the conversation going until you're ready to close. And that's the difference between the two. So there is an art for asking, and we definitely want to ask the proper way. I gave you a list of different questions that you can actually ask. And when you're doing your discovery process, that's where really a lot of this is going to come into the picture, the different questions that you ask. So you have a general question. That could be from the beginning of the conversation, where let's say you ask someone, well, what type of treatments would you be interested in, right? So now you're saying what type of treatments. That opens up the door to explore, and they have to tell you what kind of treatment. It's not a yes or a no question. You see the difference? So this is an open-ended general question that allows people to give you a more in-depth answer. Then you have specific questions. That's when you're doing your initial fact-finding, right? You go, okay, well, how did you hear about us? Now that's very specific because they have to give you the answer on how did you find out about us. Very specific. You have leading questions. A leading question is when you're leading them into the type of answer you want them to give you. So you're asking them, for example, Are you looking for weight loss treatments, or are you looking for anti-aging treatments? So I'm leading you into one of those two areas. So very important questions to ask, especially if you're trying to introduce more upgrade opportunities, right? Isn't this fun? It's so much fun. And then choice questions. This is when you close. The choice questions are ideal to close. Now, instead of saying, do you want to reserve the treatment? That's a closed-ended question. You're either going to get a yes or no. You definitely don't want to ask that, right? Instead, what you want to ask is, would you prefer this treatment or this treatment? So you're giving them an option. Would you prefer morning or afternoon? You're giving me an option. So the option is not yes or no. The option is which one would you prefer, right? Isn't that nice? The psychology, I can do a whole day seminar just on that alone. There is so much that goes into communication skills that when they are applied, it makes a whole difference in your message getting across to people and in influencing a buying decision. Key, you guys. And the more you learn about this, the art of questioning, the better you're going to be, the better communicator you're going to be. I would start practicing these. You might want to get with your leadership team again and start building on these questions, on what questions we can ask during the reservation process, during the check-in, during the checkout, all the aspects of your work. And if you apply this, you're going to be on your way to improved communication. So take some time, write those questions, make sure they are open-ended questions that require an in-depth answer back, not a yes or no. You don't want yes or no. That's like, again, not a good conversation. That's a one-sided conversation that we don't want. The other thing I wanted you to have to help you with communication is some words that are pet peeve words of mine, and then good words. Like the word add-on. I hate it. Can't stand it. It should be enhancements or upgrades. The word patient. I don't like the word patient at all. Patient is somebody who's sick to me. That's like, I'm a patient. You know, we're a guest, we're a client, especially in our industry. We're not really patients. No, we're not a case. That even drives me more crazy. Oh, I had this case the other day. What the fudge? Are you kidding me? What do you mean it's a case? I'm not a case. No. Booking an appointment. Oh, I can't stand that one. It's not booking. It's reserving an experience or reserving a treatment. Doesn't that sound so much nicer? Instead of let me book you. I'm going to put you in jail. I'm going to book you now. Not a good one. Selling. Instead of selling, it's recommending, right? We make recommendations to solve concerns that the guests have that come to see us. Instead of service, I don't like the word service. It's a treatment, right? Instead of a service. Instead of yeah, yes, of course, right? I love the word of course, actually, or it's my pleasure. You need to have those in your vocabulary. Never say no problem. I can't stand that. It's always my pleasure to help you. Of course, I want to help you. Doesn't that make you feel so much better than no problem? No. Don't say that. Don't say that. Packages. Packages, what is it, a six-pack? No, they are actually experiences instead of packages. Packages is like not classy word. You don't want to do that. That's not a good thing. And then just a minute. I much prefer one moment, please. I'll be right with you instead of just a minute. Hold on now. Just a minute. I'll be right there. So communication is key, really, to delivering a great guest experience and to making a great impression on people. And it takes time, I know, to get all this stuff down, but it's key to our success. And it's worthy of spending the time to learn it so you can make it a habit, make it part of your language, and then start applying it. All right? Okay, so I'm zipping through this here a little bit quickly. I know handling dissatisfied guests. I know we all always strive to deliver that wow guest experience, but every once in a while we're going to get that one person who's going to be a pain in the you know what, and they're going to cause some problems, and they're trying to get something for free, and it's like, nah, 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 nah. How do we handle them? It's very important, right? What we want to do, first of all, is take them to the side. You definitely don't want to be in the lobby with somebody bitching and complaining. You need to take them to an office or somewhere, aside. Always have a pen and a paper in your hand, like you're taking notes, listening to them, because people want to be heard. A lot of times, they just want to be heard. And if you have a note and a piece of paper, you're going to document. They see that you care and that you're going. So let them vent, let them air it out, let them say what they want to say and listen. Don't interrupt them. I know you're gonna jump in and start defending and but nothing. Just be quiet. Let them say their mind. You listen, and then once they're finished, then you can say what you're gonna do for them. And here's the answer to that. Never offer anything. All you have to say is, what can I do to make it up to you? That's all you have to say. What can I do to make it up to you? That even rhymes. And usually they'll tell you nothing. I just wanted you to know. If they have class, that's what they would say. If they say something like, I want to get my money back or whatever, then you say something like this. And by the way, this should be a leadership decision. I'm not just telling you to do it on your own. You definitely need to discuss it with your management. But I would say something like this. To me, I would much prefer to give them a gift card so they can come back and see me again rather than to give them this treatment for free, right? Why do I want to do that? Because I want to gain their respect again. I want to kiss and make up and keep them as a client. If I just give them the refund, then they're gone and they're not coming back. So I would do something like this. Say, here's what I can do for you, Mary. I'm going to go ahead and issue you a gift card for the amount because you were dissatisfied. And I want to earn your respect again. So I'm going to give you a gift card so you can come back and see us again so I can show you how we can do much better. Now, again, it depends on the price of the treatment. I'm not saying give them $10,000 back. Please don't mistake me. So again, it depends on the type of treatments. I'm just giving you kind of like a little general rule. You guys should have your own dissatisfaction policies. I'm just giving you some ideas. Now, if it's a smaller ticket item, like if it's a facial or a body treatment, like, something maybe for $100, $200, then the gift card will be fine to do. If it's more than that, then you have to consult with your policies and see what you are empowered to actually offer them. Now, if you can't handle the angry clients, then again, you should have a protocol in your facility based on who can handle those. So whether to get a manager, a department lead, or whatever. Again, consult with them and see what's the best way to do that. But it's been proven that if you take an angry or a dissatisfied client and you make it up to them, they become your most loyal clients. So I don't want you to be stinking thinking. You need to put the right effort forth, make it good, and good always comes back. That's my philosophy on that. So I'll let you figure that out and see what you're empowered with to be able to resolve these issues. Okay, now let's talk about internal communication. We talked a little bit about the guest. Now you have to communicate with the team. And the best way to communicate with the team is during the daily success planning meeting. Any place that we work with who implemented the daily success planning meeting have seen tremendous difference in their business. I want to encourage you to implement this process. It makes it so good. So let's go into it a little bit. So what is it? Well, the daily success planning meeting is a way for us to look at what is going on today, who is coming in, what kind of treatments have they had in the past, What can we recommend to them next? Do we have cross-marketing opportunities here between departments? We need to remember what they had last time, what they're having this time. So it's our way to prepare for the day and to be united as a team. And all of us know what is going to happen and how can we seize the opportunities that are right there, the low-hanging fruit that's right around us for the day. If we don't do that, then we're operating our business blindly. Then we're just going through the motions, not paying attention. We forget about asking about how Mexico was, or I remember you had this treatment last time. How about trying this time? Oh, I remember you went home with the XYZ product. How's it working for you? Oh my gosh, it just makes the relationship so much better with the team as well as with the guest. And when we focus on having that meeting every single day, then we are going to definitely soar. So who should do this meeting? Now, I believe in the guest relations team actually preparing for the team meeting, so they know, like, you pass out everybody's schedule, you see, give them an idea of what they've had, maybe the notes for each one of the clients, identify who's the new client, who's the repeat client. So we're doing all the fact finding, basically. And we should really do that the night before. So you, as a guest relations executive, can come up with all the material that we need for the next morning meeting. And then either the manager leads the meeting, or maybe a department lead from the guest relations department can lead the meeting. It depends. Again, you need to have a conversation with your leadership team and assign that responsibility. But no matter on how it gets done, it needs to get done. Because if you don't do it, you're going to be average. When you do it, you become excellent. I highly recommend you doing the daily success planning meetings, right? And if you have 2 shifts, you should have 2 meetings. The shift in the morning and then the shift in the afternoon. And it is a must. You do this, you guys, and you will just absolutely soar. It's not something to be taken lightly. Now, the other tool that we have that you can use for the morning meetings are these spa dollars. The spa dollars are meant to be used for cross-marketing. So let's say, for example, we have a client who comes in all the time and all she has is a facial. She's never had anything else. She's never had Botox, she's never had fillers, she's never had a peel, nothing. And we know she would be ideal for that. So what we would do in the morning meeting, that's the fact finding that you would have done the night before. So let's say I'm the esthetician doing this facial for this lovely lady. Then I would give Dory that morning a spa dollar, and I would say, Dory, Mary has never had a peel or Botox or fillers or anything. So what we want to do is we want to be able to give her a spa dollar so she can cross-market to the injectable department. So then what I would do as an esthetician at the end of my facial, I would say, you know what, Mary, I was looking in your record the other day, and I noticed that you've never seen one of our injectors for like Botox or fillers. So what I would like to do is set up a consultation for you, because frankly, doing the facials with me is great, but if you really, like you expressed to me in the past, you want a more youthful appearance. So if you really want a more youthful appearance, then we probably should combine with the facials some injectables. So I'm doing something special for you. I have a gift for you. And then you hand her the spa dollar. You can say, what I'm going to do is set up a consultation with so-and-so. She's an amazing injector. And then I'm giving you a $50 gift spa dollar here to apply towards your first treatments of injections, whether it's Botox, fillers, whatever they recommend to you. So what I'm going to do, I believe she's available, so I'm going to introduce you to Nancy so you can meet her. We're going to set up your consultation appointment, and then you can use this with your first injectable treatment. Sounds great? Let's go ahead and do that. And then you walk them out. So we just cross-marketed from one department to another. But if we don't discuss this in our daily success planning meeting, and you give this to the team, to the estheticians, to the injectors, so they can have this conversation, right? And then when they come back to the front desk, they have the spa dollar, you're gonna reserve the consultation, and then you make a note in the software system that they have a $50 voucher that they can apply towards their first visit. Or it could be $25, or it could be $10, whatever you want it to be. But you see how working as a team and communicating this in the morning daily success planning meeting, if had we not talked about it, it wouldn't have happened. It doesn't happen, and it's costing you a lot of revenue, and it's causing you not for you to reach your bonuses. So if you are more aware of the opportunities and you take advantage of them and you truly help the client, remember, this is win-win we're talking about. I'm not just telling you to shove things down their throat. I'm talking being purposeful. I'm talking about helping them. That's what we want. And when we utilize these efforts, when we communicate, we can accomplish a lot more. And that's all from a little, and this is not a long drawn out meeting, by the way. This can be done in we're talking 10, 15 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Here's what it is. Let's have a great day. Isn't that great? Oh, it's amazing. It really is amazing. You just have to implement it. You gotta implement it. So I really encourage you to do the daily success planning meetings. All right, so the other communication that you really need to get down is between you and your leadership team. You guys need to have your little meeting, find out what communication they want you to have between you and them, and outline those and make sure that you are participating in whatever it is that they want you to do. So it's guest communication and it's leadership communication between you and the team. So outline those methods of communication so you're very clear on what we're trying to do so we can get our message out and make sure everybody's doing what they need to do. The other part of communicating is that quality assurance form that I touched on briefly earlier. When we come to work and throughout the day, it's very important to actually do our checkup on how things are clean and organized within the facility. You need a quality assurance form. It's actually in one of the manuals that we have. And when you come in the morning, somebody should be in charge of going through the entire facility and making sure that everything is ready for business. The garbage is empty, the rooms are clean, everything is stocked, inventory. The place is absolutely spotless. It smells good. The ceiling as they're laying down is nice and clean. There's no cobwebs. If they're looking down, we want to see everything. You've got to be on top of your game. So we need to assign who is in charge of that daily, and they need to sign off on it. And if there's something that needs to be fixed, that's where communication comes in, and you have to report whatever needs to get fixed. So the place is always in tip-top shape. Again, if you want to attract a certain quality of clients, you gotta be prepared and you have to be able to deliver. So quality assurance, very important. And then I give you some more discussion with your management team for the what ifs. And you guys need to come up with some guidelines for that. I'm not going to give you guidelines on it because every place is a little bit different, but you should have rules for that, and they should be published so everybody's clear on it. Like, what happens if somebody doesn't show up to work? Can they not show up to work without finding somebody else to replace them? That should be your rule. I will tell you that. But what if a client is late? We mentioned that a little bit. What about if a lot of people are checking in at the same time, the phone is ringing, blah, blah, blah. What's the priority there? What happens if a team member comes up to you and they ask you to block themselves off the schedule? Do you allow that? So that's what I mean by you guys getting together as a team and making those guidelines. I prefer to call them guidelines over policies, by the way. And then let them stick to that guideline. So get together, come up with them, and make it good. All right, so make the time to write down all these things you want to do to improve your communication methods. Do your homework, write down your takeaways, keep that spiral notebook handy, and this completes Module 3. So we're going to move on to Module 4 next. So until then, do the homework and stay inspired. Bye now.